Mia was only 14 years old. She had never walked in her life. Since birth, she was in a wheelchair. But even though her body was weak, her heart was full of hope. She lived in a big, beautiful mansion with her father, Mr. James. Everyone in the town respected him. He was rich, powerful, and always smiling in public. People called him a perfect father because he always showed love to Mia. He took her to expensive places, bought her gifts, and told everyone how much he cared for her. But Mia felt something different. At night, when the doors were closed and the lights were off, Mr. James changed. He became cold, quiet. Sometimes he wouldn't speak to her for days. Other times he would stare at her with a strange look in his eyes, like he was angry, but hiding it. Mia didn't understand. She thought maybe she was imagining it. One sunny morning, Mr. James came into her room with a big smile. "Get ready, sweetheart," he said. "Today we're going somewhere special, just the two of us." Mia smiled. She loved spending time outside. "Where are we going, Daddy?" she asked. "It's a surprise," he said, kissing her on the forehead. They got into his luxury car, and he drove far from the city. The roads became quiet. Trees surrounded them on both sides. After almost an hour, the car stopped at the edge of a cliff. The view was beautiful. The ocean was wide and deep, with waves crashing below. The wind was soft, and the sky was clear. Blue. "This place is amazing," Mia said. "What is this place?" Mr. James wheeled her closer to the edge. "I came here once with your mother," he said, "before you were born. We made a promise here, a promise about our family." Mia looked at the water and smiled. She felt calm, but something was strange. Her father was standing behind her now. She couldn't see his face, but she could hear him breathing. It was louder, slower, different. She looked down and saw his shadow. He wasn't just standing, he was holding something behind his back, something long and sharp. "Daddy?" she asked. "Why are we here?" He didn't answer. Far away behind the trees, a 12-year-old boy named Jaden was playing fetch with his dog, Max. Jaden came from a poor neighborhood nearby. He loved coming to the cliff because it was peaceful and open. But this time he noticed something odd. He saw a rich man standing with a girl in a wheelchair right near the cliff's edge. Jaden stopped playing and watched. Suddenly he saw the man lean close to the girl. The man's body moved fast, and the girl's arms waved in the air. Jaden's heart beat faster. What was that? Jaden dropped the stick and ran toward them quietly, staying behind the trees. Back at the cliff, Mr. James whispered, "You were never supposed to be born like this. You were supposed to be strong to walk, but you're just a reminder." "A reminder of what?" Mia asked, confused and scared. Mr. James didn't reply. His hands moved toward the wheelchair. His face was no longer smiling. It was dark, cold. His eyes looked empty. Mia's heart started racing. "Daddy, what are you doing?" she asked, her voice shaking. Behind the trees, Jaden saw the man's hands go behind the wheelchair. He saw the girl reaching out, trying to stop him. Jaden's eyes widened. Was this man trying to hurt her? Jaden looked around. There was no one else, just him, the girl, and the man. The wind blew harder now. Mia's hair flew across her face. Her hands grabbed the sides of her wheelchair tightly. "Please, Daddy," she said softly. "Let's go home." Mr. James stepped back. For a moment, everything was silent. Then, Jaden saw the wheelchair tilt. He heard a scream. Jaden ran. As fast as his legs could move, he ran toward the edge. Max barked behind him. The sound of wheels scraping rocks filled the air, and then silence. Only the ocean below. Jaden reached the edge and gasped. Mr. James was kneeling on the ground, pretending to cry. His hands were on his head and his voice shook. "No. No. It was an accident," he said loudly, looking around as if calling for help. "Mia, Mia." But Jaden had seen everything, and what he saw didn't look like an accident. He stepped back, hiding in the trees, breathing hard. His heart was racing. Down below, something moved on a ledge. Jaden leaned forward, squinting. Was that Mia? To be continued. Jaden stood frozen behind the trees, his heart pounding. He had just seen the rich man, Mr. James, push the girl in the wheelchair toward the edge. Her scream still echoed in his ears. For a second, Jaden didn't know what to do. Then he heard something. A voice, soft and weak. Help! It was coming from below the cliff. Jaden ran toward the edge. His dog Max barked behind him, but Jaden didn't stop. He dropped to his knees and looked down carefully. There, just a few feet below the cliff's edge, Mia was hanging onto a small rock ledge. Her wheelchair had already fallen, but somehow she had grabbed onto a branch sticking out from the side. Her arms were shaking. Her face was scratched. Her eyes were full of tears. She was still alive. Jaden gasped. "Hold on, I'm coming!" he shouted. But before he could do anything, he heard footsteps. He looked to the side and saw Mr. James standing. But his face had completely changed. He was no longer pretending. There was no panic on his face anymore. Instead, he looked cold, angry, and afraid someone had seen him. He turned his head slowly and noticed Jaden. Their eyes met. Jaden's stomach dropped. Mr. James quickly forced a fake cry and shouted loudly, "Oh no! My daughter! It was an accident, she slipped." Jaden didn't believe him. Not for a second, Jaden grabbed a long stick nearby and held it out to Mia. "Take this," he yelled. Mia looked up, her hands shaking. Her grip was slipping. "Please, help me," she cried. Jaden lay on his stomach and stretched the stick as far as he could. Mia reached out with all her strength. Her fingers touched the stick, but slipped. "No!" Jaden shouted. "You can do it, try again." Mia took a deep breath and reached again. This time, she grabbed the stick tightly. "Good, now hold on," Jaden said. With all his strength, Jaden pulled. Slowly, slowly. Mia moved closer to the top. Just as he was pulling her up, Mr. James took a step forward. "Get away from her," he shouted. "She needs a doctor. I'll take care of it." But Jaden didn't stop. He knew something was wrong. This man was dangerous. He pulled harder. Sweat ran down his face. His arms were shaking. His feet dug into the dirt. Mia's body was heavy, and she was weak. But she didn't let go. And finally, with one last pull, Jaden brought her up. Mia collapsed on the ground, breathing hard. Her face was pale. Her knees were bleeding, and her hands were cut from the branches. Jaden sat beside her, holding her hand. "You're okay now," he whispered. "You're safe." Mia looked at him with wide eyes. Her voice was soft. "My dad, he pushed me," she said. Jaden nodded. "I saw everything." Just then, Mr. James rushed toward them, pretending to be worried. "Oh, thank God she's alive," he said loudly. "You saved her. Thank you, young man." But his eyes told a different story. Jaden didn't say anything. He held Mia closer. "We should call the police," Jaden said. "She needs help." Mr. James's smile faded for a moment. Then it returned. "Of course," he said. "Let's get her to a hospital first. I'll take her in my car." "No," Mia whispered. "I don't want to go with him." Jaden stood up. "She stays with me." Mr. James took a step back. He looked around, realizing people might be coming. Hikers sometimes passed by this area. If someone else saw them, they might ask questions. So he forced a smile again. "Fine," he said. "Take her. But don't tell anyone yet. She needs rest." Jaden didn't trust him, but he knew he had to get Mia far away. He helped her stand a little and put her arm around his shoulder. Slowly, he walked with her through the forest path. Max walked beside them, growling at Mr. James. As they disappeared into the trees, Mr. James stood alone on the cliff, his hands clenched into fists. His plan had failed, but he wasn't done yet. Later that day, Jaden brought Mia to his house. It was small and simple. His mother, Mrs. Brown, was shocked to see them. "What happened? Who is this girl?" she asked. Jaden told her everything. From the cliff, to the push, to the rescue. Mrs. Brown knelt beside Mia and wiped her wounds gently. "You're safe now, sweetie," she said kindly. Mia felt warm. For the first time in a long time, she felt protected. But inside, she was scared. What if her father came looking for her? What if he found her again? She didn't know it yet, but Mr. James had already made a phone call, and someone was coming, someone who would do anything to keep Mr. James's secret safe. To be continued. Jaden didn't sleep that night. He sat on a chair near Mia, watching her as she lay on a small bed in his room. Her head was bandaged, her arm was bruised, and her eyes were closed, but she was safe, for now. His mother, Mrs. Brown, had made soup and stayed up late, making sure Mia was okay. She had so many questions, but she didn't pressure the girl. She only said one thing before going to bed. Sometimes the people who smile the most are hiding the darkest secrets. Jaden looked at Mia and thought about what she had whispered. My dad. He pushed me. That voice kept playing in his head. The next morning. The sun rose slowly. Birds chirped outside. But inside Jaden's home, there was only silence. Mia finally woke up. She looked around, confused at first. Then she saw Jaden. Where am I? She asked softly. You're safe, Jaden said. You're at my house. My mom helped clean your cuts. Mia tried to sit up but winced in pain. You saved me, she whispered. Why? Jaden looked down. Because what your dad did was wrong. I couldn't just walk away. Mia's eyes filled with tears, but she wiped them quickly. No one will believe me, she said. Everyone thinks he's perfect. Jaden nodded. I believe you, but we need proof. As Mia shifted to get more comfortable, something fell from her pocket. Jaden picked it up. It was an old letter. The paper was yellow and soft, like it had been hidden for a long time. Where did this come from? Jaden asked. It's from my mom, Mia replied. She gave it to me before she died. She said, only open it if you ever feel scared of your father. Jaden opened the letter slowly. Inside were short but strange words, written in beautiful handwriting. If anything happens to me, know this. Your father's love is not real. He hides pain behind his money. He stopped your treatment on purpose. He wanted you weak. He has secrets locked under the house. Don't trust him, even if he smiles. Jaden stared at the letter in shock. He stopped your treatment? He asked. Mia nodded slowly. I used to go to therapy. They said I might walk one day. But one day, Daddy just said it was too expensive. He told me it wouldn't work. Jaden looked at the letter again. One line stood out. Secrets locked under the house. What does that mean? He whispered. The mansion. That evening, Jaden made a plan. He would go to Mr. James's mansion. He needed to find proof. Mia begged him not to go. He's dangerous, she said. If he catches you, I'll be careful, Jaden promised. I won't go inside, I'll just look around. Jaden told his mom the truth. She didn't want him to go either, but she knew someone had to uncover the truth. If you're going, she said, handing him a flashlight, don't go through the front. Rich people always hide the truth at the back. The basement door that night. Jaden crept through the trees behind the mansion. It was quiet, too quiet. He saw cameras on the front gate, but none in the back. Mr. James must have felt too confident, like no one would ever dare come near his house. Jaden found a side door and slipped inside. Everything was clean and shiny. Golden lights, long red carpets, expensive paintings. But Jaden didn't care about the rich look. He was searching for the truth. Then he saw it, a small wooden door near the kitchen. It had a keypad on it. Jaden frowned. Why would someone lock a door inside? Their own house? He looked at the keypad. There were smudges on two numbers, 2 and 5. He tried a few combinations. Beep. 1. Beep. Unlocked. The door creaked open. Inside the secret room, Jaden stepped into darkness. The air was cold. The room smelled like dust and something rotten. He turned on his flashlight. There were boxes everywhere, old papers, files, medicine bottles, and pictures. Jaden opened one file. It was Mia's medical report. It said, patient shows signs of walking ability. Continued therapy, highly recommended. Next to it, someone had written in red ink, cancel, stop all treatment, no more funding. Jaden opened another box. Inside were videotapes, some labeled Mia, age 7, Mia crying, and Mia punishment. He put one into a small player nearby. On the screen, a younger Mia sat in her chair, crying. Mr. James stood over her, yelling, "You don't need to walk. You don't need friends. You only need me." Jaden covered his mouth. This wasn't a loving father. This was a man who wanted control. Jaden takes the truth. Jaden grabbed the documents and took photos with his phone. He put the videos into his backpack. As he turned to leave, he heard something. Click. The front door had opened. Jaden froze. Footsteps. Mr. James was home. Jaden's heart raced. He turned off his flashlight and hid in the shadows. He heard Mr. James talking to someone on the phone. "I know she's alive. That boy has her. Don't worry. I'll find them." Jaden held his breath. Then he tiptoed out the back door and ran through the trees as fast as he could. Back to safety. Jaden made it home, breathing hard, soaked in sweat. He showed the videos and photos to his mom and Mia. Mia stared at the screen in silence. Her lips trembled. Tears rolled down her cheeks. "I knew it," she whispered. "He never loved me." Mrs. Brown hugged her tightly. Jaden stood up. "We're going to show this to the world," he said. "He won't get away with this." But outside, sitting in his black car, Mr. James watched the small house through binoculars, and he was already planning his next move. The next morning, everything felt different. Mia sat quietly on the small sofa in Jaden's living room. Her eyes stared at nothing. The images from the video Jaden had shown her the night before still burned in her mind. Her own father shouting at her, locking her away, canceling her therapy on purpose. All her life she thought he loved her. But it was all a lie. Jaden watched her carefully. "You okay?" he asked softly. Mia nodded slowly, but she didn't speak. Mrs. Brown came in with some warm tea. "He can't hurt you now," she said gently. "You're safe here." But just outside the house, hiding in the trees, someone was watching. It was Mr. James. He sat in his black car, parked far enough that no one could see him, but close enough to see Jaden's front door. He whispered to himself, "If she shows those tapes, everything's over." Then he picked up his phone. "It's time. Find the room. Destroy everything inside it." Back at the mansion an hour later, a man dressed in black entered Mr. James's mansion. He moved fast, like he knew the place. Well, he wasn't a cleaner. He wasn't a guard. He was a fixer. Someone Mr. James used to clean up his dark secrets. He walked straight to the small wooden door in the kitchen, the one Jaden had opened the night before. He entered the secret room. His eyes scanned the boxes. "Where are the tapes?" he muttered. He looked in every drawer, every cabinet. Gone. He picked up a gas can and poured it over the floor. If there was no evidence, there was no crime. He lit a match and dropped it. The fire sparked. Smoke filled the room. Jaden's discovery back at Jaden's house. Jaden's phone buzzed. It was a message from his classmate who lived near the mansion. "Hey bro, is everything okay? There's smoke coming out of Mr. James's house." Jaden stood up fast. "Mia, I think he's trying to destroy the evidence." Mia looked at him, terrified. "But we already took the tapes, right?" Jaden nodded. "Yes, but what if there's more? What if something else is still in that house?" "I'm going with you," Mia said. Jaden hesitated. "You're not strong enough. I have to know everything. I need to see it myself," she said firmly. Back to the mansion, Jaden borrowed his uncle's bike with a small cart attached. He carefully helped Mia in and covered her with a blanket. They reached the mansion in 20 minutes. Thick smoke rose from the side of the building, but the fire had been small. It didn't spread. The fire department had already come and gone. The door to the basement was burned and black. Most of the papers were ashes, but something caught Mia's eye. Behind a cracked wall near the secret room, it was a small door, almost hidden. Jaden pushed the bricks aside. The door creaked open. Behind it, a tiny hidden room, dark, cold, dusty, and inside it, a hospital bed, a small shelf, and on the wall, pictures, lots of them, all of Mia. Some when she was a baby, some of her crying, some where she was asleep, and one photo that froze her blood. It was a photo of her mother, standing near the same cliff, years ago. Behind her was Mr. James. Mia stepped closer. There were notes stuck beside the pictures. One said, "She's starting to suspect me. Can't let her ruin everything." Another said, "The boy must not speak. If she talks, I'll say she's confused," Jaden whispered. "He didn't just try to hurt you. I think he did something to your mom, too." Mia's hand shook as she picked up an old file on the shelf. It was her mother's medical report. Cause of death: fell from cliff. Mia's lips parted. "He said she died in a car accident." Jaden shook his head slowly. "He lied." Police arrive. Just then they heard sirens. Jaden looked out the window. Police cars. Mr. James stood at the gate pretending to panic. "Someone broke into my house again. They're trying to steal from me." Two officers rushed toward the house. "We need to get out," Jaden said. "Now." Mia looked around the hidden room one last time. She grabbed the photo of her mother, the note, and the file. They snuck out through the back door and ran into the woods. Time to tell the truth back home. They gave everything to Mrs. Brown. She made a call to a lawyer she trusted, one who helped people who were ignored by the system. The lawyer agreed to meet them in secret. When he saw the tapes, the photos, the mother's file, his face turned pale. This is enough to destroy him," he said. But before they could act, there was a knock at the door. 3 men in suits. One said, "We're from Child Protective Services. We've had a report about the room went silent." Jaden stood in front of Mia. Mia clutched the folder with her mother's picture and medical report, her heart beating like a drum. Mrs. Brown's hands trembled, but her voice was strong. "You cannot take this girl back to that man." The man in the black suit gave fake smile. "She's a minor. Her legal guardian is Mr. James. If you don't let her come with us peacefully, we will involve the police." Jaden stepped forward. He tried to kill her. He's the one who pushed her off the cliff. The man didn't even flinch. "That's a serious accusation from a child." Mrs. Brown crossed her arms. "We have evidence. You'll see what kind of man he really is." But the men weren't listening. One of them walked forward and said coldly, "We'll be back in 1 hour, with police." Then they left. The door shut hard behind them. The countdown begins. Mia stared at the door. "They'll take me back to him. They'll believe him, not me." Jaden turned to his mom. "What do we do now?" Mrs. Brown walked quickly into her bedroom. She came back with a small bag and a set of keys. "You're not staying here," she said. "They'll come with more men. We need to keep moving until the lawyer files a case in court." She handed the keys to Jaden. "My cousin owns a quiet cabin in the woods. No one knows. It exists but family. You'll be safe there for a while." Mia looked shocked. "You want us to run?" Mrs. Brown looked into her eyes. "I want you to survive." On the run. They left just before sunset. Jaden helped Mia into the back seat of his mom's old car, and they covered her with a blanket. Mrs. Brown gave them a bag with snacks, water, and Mia's medical papers and photos. As they drove down the empty road, Jaden kept checking the rearview mirror. Every car that passed made his heart skip a beat. Mia finally spoke, her voice shaky. "He always told me, 'You're lucky to have me.' I thought that meant love, but now I think it meant control." Jaden looked at her through the mirror. "You're not under his control anymore." They drove through winding roads, deep into the forest. After almost 2 hours, they reached the cabin. The cabin was small and old, but safe. It had 1 bedroom, a kitchen, and a fireplace. No Wi-Fi, no neighbors, just silence and the sound of birds. Jaden helped Mia settle. On a soft couch, he lit the fire to keep them warm. For the first time in days, Mia felt like she could breathe. But peace didn't last long. Jaden stepped outside to get some firewood and saw something on the ground. Tire tracks, fresh ones. He followed the trail and saw footprints leading up the hill. Someone's watching. Jaden rushed back inside. We're not alone. Mia sat up. What do you mean? There are fresh tracks out there. Someone has been watching us. Just then, thud. A rock hit the cabin window. Jaden rushed to the window, heart pounding. No one was there. Then, bang. The front door shook. Someone tried to open it from outside. Mia screamed. Jaden grabbed a piece of wood from the fireplace. Stay back, he shouted. A voice came from outside. Calm, cold. You think you can hide from me forever, Jaden? Mr. James. The hidden basement. Jaden pulled Mia into the back room and shut the door. They heard footsteps circling the cabin. Mia whispered, there has to be another way out. Jaden scanned the room. Then he noticed something, a trapdoor under the rug. He pulled it open. A small wooden ladder led into darkness. Come on, he said. He helped Mia down just as the front door burst open. They climbed into the dark basement, shutting the trapdoor above them. Dust filled the air. It was cold and tight. They could hear Mr. James upstairs. Where are you? Come out now. You're making this worse. Mia pressed her hands to her mouth to stop herself from crying. Jaden whispered, he's not leaving until he finds us. They waited, in silence. Then, Mr. James's phone rang. They heard his voice. Yes, okay, what? The lawyer filed the case already? But, no, listen, don't let it go public. Do what you have to. I'll handle the kids. He ended the call and started tearing the cabin apart. A dangerous message. Jaden took out his phone, hands shaking. He typed fast. Message to Mom. He found us. In the cabin. Hiding in basement. Please help. He hit send. No signal. He whispered to Mia. No network. Mia took a deep breath. He's going to find us. Jaden looked around. Then he saw something. An old pipe running through the basement wall. It looked wide enough. We're getting out, he whispered. The escape tunnel. Jaden helped Mia crawl into the pipe. It was tight and dirty, but it led outside to the trees. They came out covered in dust. It had been 2 days since the escape. Mia sat by the window of a quiet motel, staring at the sky. The news was everywhere now. Mr. James, the famous businessman, was under investigation. Jaden sat across the room, scrolling on his phone. Everyone's talking about it, he said. You're trending. The whole city knows what he did. Cole looked down at her hands. But I still feel like a scared little girl in a wheelchair, hiding from her own father. Jaden shook his head. You're not hiding anymore, Mia. You're fighting. And you're not alone. The lawyer's plan that afternoon. Mr. Taylor, the lawyer Mrs. Brown had called, arrived at the motel. He brought good news. The judge agreed to a fast hearing. Because of your age, the abuse claims, and the video evidence, they're treating this as urgent. Mia looked nervous. Do I have to speak in court? Mr. Taylor nodded gently. Only if you're ready. But your voice, your truth, it's powerful. Jaden added, you can do this, Mia. Tell them what you've been through. Mia took a deep breath. Her eyes didn't show fear anymore. They showed fire. I'll speak. Court day. The courtroom was packed. Reporters stood outside with cameras. Protesters held signs. Some supported Mr. James. Others called him a monster. Inside, Mia sat in her wheelchair, holding Jaden's hand. Mr. James stood across the room in a black suit, still pretending to be the perfect father. He smiled at the judge. I love my daughter. Your Honor, she's just confused. That boy poisoned her mind. But then the judge asked Mia to speak. She rolled forward slowly. The room went silent. Her voice was soft, but every word was clear. I believed my dad loved me. I believed I was sick and that's why I couldn't walk. But now I know he made me weak on purpose. He didn't want me to grow strong. He wanted me to stay broken. Gasps echoed through the courtroom. Mia held up a photo. This is my mother. He told me she died in a car crash, but this photo shows her at the cliff, before she disappeared. She turned to face her father. You hurt me. You locked me in that room, you ended my therapy, and when you thought I found out, you tried to kill me. The judge looked at Mr. James, who was no longer smiling. The evidence. Jaden stepped Forward with a flash drive. These are security tapes. They show Mr. James locking Mia in the basement. They also show him standing behind her at the cliff, moments before she went over. The court played the videos. Mr. James tried to protest. "This is edited, it's fake." But the judge had seen enough. "I am ordering full custody of Mia James to be removed from her father." "A criminal investigation is underway." Mia's hands shook. She had done it. The arrest outside the courtroom, reporters swarmed the building. Mr. James tried to rush to his car, but police officers stopped him. "You're under arrest for attempted murder, child abuse, and obstruction of justice." Cameras clicked. Reporters shouted questions. Mr. James looked around. No one believed his lies anymore. He was no longer the perfect father. He was the villain. A new beginning. Weeks later, Mia and Jaden sat in the backyard of Mrs. Brown's home. Birds chirped. The air smelled like freedom. Mia's wheelchair had been replaced with a special walking support frame. With daily therapy, she was slowly starting to move her legs again. Jaden smiled. "You're getting stronger," Mia nodded. "Every day, eternally." Looked at the sky. "I thought I was alone. But now I know, truth always finds a way." Just then, the mail arrived. Mia opened a letter from the court. Her adoption request had been approved. Mrs. Brown was now her legal guardian. Tears ran down Mia's face. "I finally have a real family." Jaden placed a hand on her shoulder. "And I'll always be your best friend." Final scene. Justice News headlines flashed across the screen. Rich businessman sentenced to 25 years in prison. Young girl speaks out and inspires thousands. Justice for Mia. A story of truth and strength. Mia stood outside the courthouse, surrounded by reporters, but this time she wasn't afraid. This time, she was proud. 6 months had passed. The world had changed for Mia. She was no longer the quiet girl who lived in a big house with dark secrets. Now she was known as the girl who spoke the truth. A real home. Mia lived with Mrs. Brown and Jaden in a cozy house filled with warmth, not fear. She had her own room decorated with books, lights, and pictures of her mom. For the first time, she felt safe. Every morning she went to school with Jaden. People smiled at her in the hallways. Teachers treated her kindly. No one saw her as the girl in the wheelchair. They saw her as strong, brave, real. Walking again, Mia still used a wheelchair sometimes, but with regular therapy, she was making progress. One sunny afternoon at the clinic, something amazing happened. Her therapist asked her to try the bars again. 2 metal railings where she practiced walking. Mia took a deep breath. Jaden stood nearby, watching closely. Mia placed her hands on the bars and slowly moved one foot. Forward, then the other. Tears filled everyone's eyes. Step by shaky step, Mia walked across the room, on her own. Jaden clapped. "You did it, Mia." She smiled through tears. "I did." The Truth Spreads Mia was invited to speak at a charity event for children with disabilities. The hall was full. Cameras recorded her every word. She spoke softly but confidently. "I was locked in a life that wasn't mine. I was told I was weak, broken, unworthy. But I learned something. The truth may hide, but it never dies. And when you speak it, everything changes." People cried. People clapped. Her story was shared online by millions. Justice for Mia. Truth never dies. Stand up even if you can't walk yet. A letter from prison one day. A letter came in the mail. It had no return address, but Mia knew who it was from. She opened it slowly. "Mia, I don't expect you to forgive me, but I need to say I'm sorry, not for the world, but for you. I lost your mother because of my actions, and I lost you too. I hope you find peace. Dad." Mia stared at the paper for a long time. Then, she folded it and put it away. Jaden asked, "Are you okay?" Mia nodded. "I don't know.